Again, thank you very much for coming today, Mr.
Okay.
Yarwood. Much appreciated. Now, obviously, you underwent a procedure last year to your left knee. I wonder if you could just explain again what sort of problems you were having with the knee at the time.
I had a cartilage operation when I was 20. I had my cartilage out, and over time it began to hurt. And whilst I'd still run, it was getting worse, and I was getting a lot more discomfort, particularly up in the Peak District doing a lot of walking. A few miles into a walk, I was getting a lot of pain. So I initially came to see you about that.
We undertook an initial arthroscopic assessment of your knee at that time, which improved things for a short period. 2 or 3 years later, I think you came back though with some deterioration.
Yes. Yeah.
So just talk me through the sort of level of activity you were able or weren't able to do at that time.
I had been running and playing football, and then my knee became really, really painful. I couldn't. I was struggling to walk, and then that just deteriorated and got worse and worse and worse. And in the end, I was wearing a leg brace to get about. You know, up and down stairs was really difficult for me, and I was in a lot of pain. It was really affecting what I was doing. I couldn't do any sport. I could hardly walk. I couldn't go out walking. I had a full leg brace on.
Just tell us what you can do now and what you have been doing over the last year or so since your surgery that you couldn't really have contemplated before.
I regularly go out walking. I think the most I've walked in one sitting is 12 miles, so no problem. In fact, what I find is the more I do on it, the better it is. So the day after a long walk, it feels fantastic. You know, probably one of my challenges is making sure I can get enough exercise with work. So I can run. I'm on the treadmill, running at 11.5, 12k on the speeds on the treadmill. I can play golf. Played 2 rounds in 2 days, no discomfort at all. You know, my work colleagues used to comment about how much of a problem I had walking, and they said, "Did you have a bad knee?" And now there's no sign of it really. I'm walking normally. I haven't played football yet, but everything else that I want to do, I do. It doesn't hold me back at all.
Could you just talk to us a little bit about your experience around that surgery?
Hospital was great, was well looked after. You know, I remember parts of it. Woke up and I was out that evening. My wife took me home, and I had crutches, but I was fairly mobile. You know, I was back at work within a few days, which was fantastic. I think within a couple of weeks, I was getting around quite well, I think.
And the physiotherapy, was that very helpful as well?
Actually, I knew some of the because my daughter came here for an operation previously, so we knew some of the physios, and my wife came with me a few times. So the team that we knew, and we actually got on well with previously. So yeah, the physios were very helpful in building my rehabilitation, getting me back on my feet and away very quickly. You're never sure what level you're going to get back to, and because it took a few weeks to get full mobility, and then running was probably a couple of months. I think maybe 3 months before that. So all in the back of your mind, you're hoping you're going to get back to. But so it probably took a few weeks to get to my expectations, and it's done that. In fact, it's exceeded. If you'd asked me before the operation, would I be like this now and be able to do anything really I want to do, then I would have taken that certainly. In fact, I sometimes see people walking with a poorly knee. I think I wonder if that's a knee replacement. When you hear people having knee replacements, I would certainly offer this to people an option. So my experiences and the experience of this hospital, I'd certainly recommend that because it's met my needs and more.